You're driving down the highway 70 miles an hour, AC blasting, life is good, and then you glance at your temperature gauge. It's climbing, past the middle, past 3/4, heading straight for the red. And then, that thin wisp of white smoke starts curling out from under your hood. Your heart sinks, because somewhere in the back of your mind, you know overheating kills engines, warped cylinder heads, blown head gaskets, a $4,000 repair bill from a $20 problem you ignored for too long. Today on Zero to Dream, I'm breaking down the 5 real reasons your car overheats, how to diagnose each one, what you can fix yourself, and the one symptom that means stop driving immediately. Let's get into it. Safety first.
Okay, I'm convinced. What do we do?
What to do the moment it overheats. But first, before we even talk about causes, you need to know what to do the second your car overheats, because what you do in the next 60 seconds determines whether this is a $50 fix or a $5,000 engine rebuild. Step 1. Turn off your AC immediately and crank your heat to maximum. I know, it's 95 degrees outside. Do it anyway. Your heater core is a tiny radiator. Blasting the heat pulls thermal energy out of your engine. It's uncomfortable, but it works. Step 2. Pull over safely as soon as you can. Do not keep driving. Do not try to just make it to the next exit. An aluminum cylinder head warps in minutes of severe overheating. Step 3, and this is critical, do not open the radiator cap while the engine is hot. The cooling system is under pressure. That cap comes off and you're getting a face full of boiling coolant. Hospital visit. 3rd-degree burns. Just wait. Let it cool for at least 30 minutes. Step 4. Once it's cool, check your coolant level. If the reservoir is empty, you've found at least part of the problem. Top it off with water if that's all you have. You can fix the mixture later. Getting home is the priority. Number 1. Low coolant. The most common and easiest fix. I'm putting this first because it's the culprit in more overheating cases than everything else combined. You're low on coolant, or your coolant is old, or both. Coolant, also called anti-freeze, does 2 jobs. It pulls heat out of your engine, and it prevents the water in your system from freezing in winter. Over time, coolant breaks down. It becomes acidic. It stops protecting, and it stops cooling. Check your coolant reservoir. It's the translucent plastic tank, usually white with minimum and maximum lines on the side. If the level is below the minimum line, your engine isn't getting enough coolant. That's a problem. But here's the question you actually need to answer. Where did it go? Coolant doesn't just disappear. It's a sealed system. If it's low, it went somewhere. You either have an external leak, a puddle under your car, or an internal leak, which is much worse. External leaks are the ones you want. Look under the car for green, orange, or pink fluid. Check your radiator hoses. Squeeze them. Are they soft, mushy, cracked? A $15 hose and 2 hose clamps fixes this. Check the radiator itself for wet spots or white crusty residue. That's dried coolant, and it's pointing at your leak. If there's no puddle and no visible leak, but your coolant keeps disappearing, that's a red flag for an internal leak. We'll get to that. Number 2, bad thermostat, the $15 part that controls everything. Your thermostat is stuck closed. This is a $15 part, and I've seen people spend $800 at a shop because they didn't know how to test it. Here's how it works. Your thermostat is a valve that stays closed when the engine is cold, helping it warm up faster. Once the engine hits operating temperature, usually around 195 degrees, the thermostat opens and lets coolant flow to the radiator. It's a simple wax-filled spring. Heat melts the wax, the spring opens the valve. When it works, it's genius. When it fails closed, and your coolant just sits in the engine block, cooking while the radiator stays cold. Quick diagnosis test: start the engine cold and let it idle. Put your hand on the upper radiator hose. For the first few minutes, it should stay cool. The thermostat is closed. Then, as the temperature gauge reaches the middle, the hose should suddenly get hot. That's the thermostat opening. If the hose stays cold but your gauge climbs into the red, your thermostat is stuck. Replace it. Another test. With the engine fully warmed up, carefully feel both radiator hoses. The upper hose should be hot. The lower hose should be warm, but cooler than the upper. If the upper hose is blazing hot and the lower hose is cold, coolant isn't flowing through the radiator. Thermostat, or a clogged radiator. We'll get to that. Replacing a thermostat is a driveway job on most cars. 2 bolts, a gasket, some RTV sealant, 30 minutes. There's a YouTube tutorial for your exact model. Just make sure you put it in the right direction. I've seen people install them backwards and the car overheats immediately because the wax pellet is on the wrong side. Number 3, radiator problems, clogs, caps, and fans. 3 problems hiding behind one word: radiator. First, a clogged radiator. Over time, minerals from tap water, rust, and old coolant breakdown gunk up the tiny passages inside your radiator. Coolant can't flow, heat can't escape, your engine cooks. If your radiator is original and you've been topping off with tap water for years, there's a good chance it's partially clogged. A radiator flush can clear minor blockages. A severely clogged radiator? Replace it. They're not that expensive for most most cars, $100 to $200 for the part. Second, your radiator cap. This $5 part holds the entire cooling system under pressure. Why does pressure matter? Because for every pound of pressure, the boiling point of your coolant goes up by about 3 degrees. A 15 psi cap raises the boiling point from 212 degrees to roughly 257 degrees. That's the difference between your engine running fine and boiling over on a hot day. If the cap seal is worn and they wear out faster than you think, pressure leaks out, the boiling point drops, and your engine overheats at normal temperatures. Test it, replace it, $5. Third, your radiator fans. When you're moving, air flows through the radiator naturally. When you're stopped, at a light, in traffic, idling, the fan has to pull air through. If your car only overheats when you're sitting still but cools down at highway speeds, your fan is the problem. Check the fan fuse and relay first. If those are good, with the engine running and AC on, the fan should be spinning. If it's not, you've got a dead fan motor, a bad temperature sensor, or a wiring issue. Quick test, turn your AC on. On most cars, the radiator fan should kick on immediately when the AC compressor engages. No fan with AC on, you've just confirmed a fan problem. Number 4, water pump failure. Your water pump is dead or dying, and this one can sneak up on you because the symptoms look exactly like a bad thermostat or low coolant. The water pump is the heart of your cooling system. It's a simple impeller on a shaft, driven by either your serpentine belt or the timing belt. It spins, pushes coolant through the engine block and into the radiator, and keeps the whole system circulating. When it fails, coolant sits still. Still coolant in a running engine. That's a recipe for hot spots, steam pockets, and rapid overheating. Signs your water pump is failing. 1. A coolant leak at the front of the engine. Most water pumps have a weep hole. When the internal seals start failing, coolant drips out of this hole on purpose. It's designed to warn you before the bearing fails completely. If you see coolant dripping from the front center of your engine, near the belts, that's probably your water pump. 2. A grinding or whining noise from the front of the engine. That's the pump bearing. When it starts making noise, it's on borrowed time. 3. Your serpentine belt is covered in coolant. The pump leaks onto the belt. The belt slips. Now your alternator and power steering are struggling too. 4. The engine overheats at random. Not just at idle, not just on the highway. Inconsistent overheating with no clear pattern is a classic dying water pump symptom. If you're replacing the water pump and it's driven by your timing belt, replace the timing belt at the same time. You're already in there. Paying the labor twice because you saved $40 on a belt is a special kind of pain I don't want for you. Number 5. Blown head. Gasket, the expensive one. I saved this for last because it's the one nobody wants to hear. A blown head gasket. And I need you to understand, this is not a keep driving and hope it gets better situation. A blown head gasket means combustion gases are leaking into your cooling system, or coolant is leaking into your cylinders, or both. Either way, your engine is eating itself. Here are the symptoms you cannot ignore. 1. Thick white smoke from your exhaust that smells sweet. Not oil smoke, that's blue. Not fuel smoke, that's black. White, sweet-smelling smoke, that's coolant burning in your combustion chambers. 2. Milky, chocolate milk-looking oil. Pull your dipstick. If the oil looks like a latte instead of oil, coolant is mixing with your oil. That mixture does not lubricate, it destroys bearings. Drive any distance like this and your engine is scrap metal. 3. Your coolant reservoir looks like a science experiment. Bubbles in the coolant tank while the engine is running. Brown sludge. An oily film on top. That's exhaust gas and oil forcing their way into the cooling system through a breached head gasket. 4. You're losing coolant with no visible leak and no puddle. It's going into the cylinders and being burned. It's going into the oil. It's disappearing because the seal between your cylinder head and engine block is no longer a seal. Quick confirmation test. You can rent a combustion leak detector from most auto parts stores for free. It's a tube with a special fluid that changes color if exhaust gases are present in your coolant. Blue fluid turns yellow or green equals head gasket is blown. Confirmed. Stop driving it. Head gasket replacement is not a driveway job for most people. It's engine out or head off surgery. Budget $1,500 to $4,000 depending on the car. But here's the thing. Catching it early before coolant destroys your bearings is the difference between a head gasket job and a full engine replacement. The symptoms don't lie. Don't ignore them because you're afraid of the answer. Prevention. Stop it before it starts. Alright, you now know the 5 causes, but I want to leave you with something more valuable. How to make sure this never happens in the first place. Prevention costs pennies. Repairs cost thousands. Rule 1. Check your coolant level once a month. It takes 10 seconds. Pop the hood, look at the reservoir, make sure it's between the lines. That's it. You'll catch a slow leak months before it becomes an overheating emergency. Rule 2. Change your coolant on schedule. Most manufacturers recommend every 30,000 to 60,000 miles or every 3 to 5 years. Old coolant becomes acidic and eats your radiator, your water pump, your heater core, and your head gasket from the inside out. A coolant flush costs maybe $100. Replacing everything everything it destroys? Thousands. Rule 3. Replace your thermostat and radiator cap preventatively when you do a coolant flush. They're $20 combined. They will fail eventually. Replace them before they strand you. Rule 4. Pay attention to your temperature gauge. It's the most ignored instrument in your entire car. If it normally sits at the middle and suddenly it's at 3/4, even if it goes back down, something changed. Find out what. Temperature gauges don't lie. They just get ignored. Rule 5. Keep an emergency kit in your trunk. A gallon of distilled water, a quart of the correct coolant for your car, a pair of gloves, and a rag. That's maybe $15. When you're stuck on the side of the road, you'll be the calmest person in the car. Your engine's cooling system is not complicated. It's a pump, a thermostat, a radiator, some hoses, and coolant. 5 things working together to keep 1,000 controlled explosions per minute from melting a block of aluminum. It's kind of amazing it works at all. But when one of those 5 things fails, the whole system falls apart. Now you know which thing to look for. If this video saved you a panic attack, or better yet, if it helped you actually fix your car, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button. I put out videos like this every week, and subscribing is how you make sure you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment. What's the most stressful car problem you've ever had? I'm talking broke down at midnight, middle of nowhere. No cell service type stories. I read every single comment.